We live in a world that constantly demands more from us, more productivity, more resilience, more clarity. Yet, the greatest battle we face isn't against external forces, it's against the chaos within our own minds. Every day, we wake up to an internal war. A war between procrastination and action, fear and courage, distraction and focus. And here's the hard truth. If you don't learn to fight that war, you will lose by default. Your mind is not a passive observer. It's either your greatest ally or your worst saboteur. Left unchecked, it will convince you to avoid discomfort, to settle for less, to surrender to short-term gratification at the expense of long-term success. But if you master it, if you forge it into a disciplined, relentless force, you can achieve what most people never will. This isn't about positive thinking or empty motivation. This is about warfare, psychological, emotional, and spiritual. It's about recognizing that every meaningful accomplishment in life requires sacrifice, struggle, and an unshakable commitment to personal responsibility. You don't get to choose whether life will be hard. You only get to choose how you respond to that hardness. Will you crumble under pressure, or will you sharpen yourself against it? The most successful people in history, whether in business, art, science, or leadership, weren't just lucky or talented. They were soldiers of the mind. They understood that before conquering the world, they had to conquer themselves. They imposed order on their chaos. They embraced suffering as a necessary teacher. They acted even when every instinct screamed at them to quit. So the question is, are you at war with your mind, or are you letting it defeat you? If you're ready to fight, to take control of your thoughts, your habits, and your destiny, then this speech is your call to arms. Let's begin. The battle within your mind is the most powerful weapon you possess, but it is also the most dangerous. It can propel you to greatness or drag you into self-destruction. Every day, you face an invisible war, a struggle between discipline and laziness, courage and fear, clarity and confusion. The battlefield is your thoughts, and the stakes are your future. Most people never realize they are at war. They live on autopilot, letting their impulses dictate their actions. They procrastinate when they should act, indulge when they should resist, and retreat when they should advance. They mistake comfort for success and distraction for peace. But comfort is the enemy of growth, and distraction is the thief of destiny. To win this war, you must first recognize it exists. You must become aware of the lies your mind tells you, the excuses, the rationalizations, the self-sabotage. It will whisper that you're not ready, that failure is inevitable, that it's easier to give up. And if you listen, you will surrender before the fight even begins. But if you take command, if you refuse to let fear dictate your decisions, you transform your mind from an adversary into an ally. You learn to act despite doubt. You push through resistance. You embrace discomfort because you know it's the price of progress. The greatest victories in life are won not on external battlefields, but in the silent, relentless war within. Discipline over motivation is a fickle friend. It comes and goes like the wind, leaving you stranded when you need it most. If you rely on it to take action, you will fail, because motivation is an emotion, and emotions are unreliable. Discipline, on the other hand, is not a feeling. It is a decision. It is the unshakable commitment to do what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent or luck. It is discipline. The disciplined person writes when uninspired, trains when exhausted, and persists when discouraged. They understand that action creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel ready. You make yourself ready through consistent effort. Discipline is built through small daily battles, waking up early when you want to sleep in, choosing the hard task over the easy distraction, holding yourself accountable even when no one is watching. Every time you choose discipline over convenience, you strengthen your willpower. And over time, these small victories compound into unbreakable resolve. The path to mastery is not paved with bursts of inspiration, but with the relentless grind of discipline. If you want to control your life, you must first control yourself. Stop waiting for motivation. Start acting with discipline. Confronting suffering. Life is pain. That is not pessimism, it is reality. Struggle is woven into the fabric of existence. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and moments where the weight of it all feels unbearable. But here is the truth most refuse to accept. Suffering is not your enemy. Avoidance of suffering is. The modern world sells the illusion that happiness comes from comfort, from bypassing hardship. But real strength is forged in adversity. The moments that break you are the same ones that can rebuild you if you let them. Suffering, when faced with courage, becomes a teacher. It strips away illusions, forces clarity, and reveals what you are truly made of. The difference between those who crumble and those who rise is not the absence of suffering, but the relationship with it. Weakness seeks escape. Blame, distraction, self-pity. Strength leans into the pain, extracts its lessons, and uses it as fuel. Every great person you admire has endured hardship. They did not become great in spite of it. They became great because of it. So when suffering comes, and it will, do not run. Stand firm, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? How can I use this to grow? Pain is inevitable, but misery is optional. You choose whether suffering destroys you or transforms you. Order versus chaos. Chaos, the human mind craves order, but is drawn to chaos. Without structure, we spiral procrastination, anxiety, wasted potential. Yet with too much rigidity, we suffocate creativity and resilience. The key is balance, enough order to stabilize, keep you evolve. Your life is a reflection of the systems you create. If your days are shapeless, your mind will be too. Establish routines, not to imprison yourself, but to free your focus for what matters. Wake at the same time. Prioritize the difficult tasks first. Create boundaries against distraction. Small structures prevent big collapses, but order alone is not enough. Too much control breeds fragility. You must also embrace uncertainty, the chaos of risk, of failure, of the unknown. Growth happens at the edge of discomfort. The goal is not to eliminate chaos, but to dance with it. Disciplined where it counts, adaptable where it matters. The strongest minds are those that can navigate both. They build a foundation of habits that keep them grounded, then venture beyond comfort to conquer new territory. Chaos without order is disaster. Order without chaos is stagnation. Master both, and you master yourself. The power of responsibility. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your response. That is the fundamental truth that separates those who thrive from those who remain trapped. Life will knock you down, betray you, and throw obstacles in your path. But the moment you stop blaming external forces, other people, bad luck, the system, and instead ask, what can I do about this? That is the moment you reclaim your power. Responsibility is not about guilt. It is about agency. It is the recognition that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you react. The person who takes responsibility stops waiting for permission, for the perfect conditions, for someone else to save them. They act, they adjust, they move forward even when the path is unclear. This mindset transforms victims into warriors. Consider this: every excuse you make is a surrender. Every time you blame someone else, you hand them control over your life. But when you say, "This is my problem to solve," you become unstoppable. Responsibility is the antidote to helplessness. It turns obstacles into opportunities because suddenly, every challenge is yours to overcome, and that means it is also yours to conquer. The most powerful people in history were not those who had the easiest lives, but those who took radical responsibility for their destinies. They did not complain about unfairness. They worked within it, through it, or in spite of it. If you want to change your life, start by owning it completely. No more blame. No more, if only. Just the relentless pursuit of what you can control. That is how wars are won, first in the mind, then in the world. The war you were born to win, the battlefield of the mind, is where all victories and defeats are first decided. Every dream you chase, every goal you abandon, every triumph or regret. It all begins with the choices you make in the silent spaces of your thoughts. You are engaged in a war, whether you acknowledge it or not. The question is, are you fighting or are you surrendering? This is not a call to arms against the world, but against the weakness within, against the excuses that keep you small, against the fear that whispers you're not enough, against the laziness that trades long-term greatness for short-term comfort. The greatest conquest is self-conquest. You now hold the weapons, discipline to act when motivation fades, courage to face suffering and let it forge you, order to stabilize your chaos, responsibility to reclaim your power. These are not just ideas, they are choices. And choices, repeated, become destiny. The war does not end. But neither does your ability to fight it. Every morning, you rise and choose your side. Will you let your mind rule you, or will you rule it? The stakes are your life, your potential, your legacy, your freedom. So arm yourself. Stand firm. Fight. This war is yours to win. Look around you, at the dreams collecting dust, at the potential being wasted, at the lives half-lived. This is what happens when you lose the war in your mind. But look deeper, at the rare few who rise, who endure, who transform themselves against all odds. This is what happens when you fight. The battle never ends because growth never ends. There's no finish line where you finally arrive. Every level of your life will demand a stronger version of you. The fears will evolve. The distractions will multiply. The stakes will grow higher. But so will your ability to conquer them, if you choose to keep fighting. This is your life's work, to show up every day and wage this war with everything you have. Not just for wealth or success, but for something far greater. Your integrity. The quiet pride of knowing that when your mind screamed, quit, you whispered one more step. That when chaos came, you stood firm. That when no one was watching, you did the hard thing anyway. The world needs warriors, not with swords, but with discipline. Not with armor, but with resilience. People who've conquered themselves so thoroughly that nothing can conquer them. This is your moment. The battlefield is your mind.